everybody, and welcome to the Richard Listens show, where I, myself, Richard Olberger, speak with today's high performers in a variety of fields. And today we will dazzle you, we will shock you, we'll bring you a little bit into several realms from acting, modeling, singing, and royalty management. I'm here today with my lovely co-host, Caitlin Patricia Weiler.
Hello, hello. Always good to be here.
Thank you. Energized by her energy drinks and her charismatic energy.
Yes, yes.
Don't you love it when you have a caffeinated co-host or one that supplies the caffeination? At least I do.
It's the best of both worlds.
So it's been an exciting few weeks for me, as you know, anybody can have a podcast. So the purpose of this podcast and live stream is to share a little bit about my journey and who I meet along the way. And I'm always amazed with the people who reach out with inspiration just when you seem to be lacking it most. And I just want to, say to all of you out there that are going through the holidays that are a little bit overwhelmed, a lot of events to get to, a lot of people to please. Don't lose track of yourselves, and don't lose track of that inner rhythm of saying no if you need to. You need to keep the pulse on what you're working on and your mental health and your peace of mind. So that's my little sense for that. This weekend, I got to participate in a sweat lodge. It was awesome.
What is a sweat lodge?
Yeah, apparently lodge means womb, and so it's like a sauna, but it has like meaning and a purpose. They follow the medicine wheel, and it's both physically cleansing and spiritual cleansing.
Oh, nice.
So, the journey to try new things, I'm always recommending it to people, but it's great when a friend reaches out to you and gives you that opportunity to tap into one of those things yourself. And if it's a little bit scary, as long as your health is not in jeopardy, and I knew I was in good hands in that realm, give it a shot. Explore, push your boundaries, because that's where you become the more authentic version of yourself. So on that note, today's guest, we will be talking with Daphee and her husband, David Salas. Daphee is known as a TV personality. You can find her albums and songs on YouTube. She's appeared as and hired to be a Playboy cyber model. So for all of you who have questions about what that is like, I'm sure we'll get some Hugh Hefner related questions out there. It's always got to be a few. I'm curious.
Always.
I got as far as the gate once,
I got further than you, Richard? Oh, my gosh.
I think it was my driver was a little, he said the wrong things at the gate, but,
He said the wrong things at the gate.
If I only knew it's always like if you knew your guest then,
Oh, I would have let you right in, for sure.
So she's been on a host of shows, from Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, Toddlers and Tiaras, Dance Moms, which apparently is on like 24/7 in my house. So,
actually, let me quick correction. It's
Okay.
my music. It went viral on reality TV series. It's called "I Like My Hair Like This," and all the kids started using it as their dance number for their dance music for their dance competition. And now it's gotten over 8 million views on YouTube.
Really?
Yes.
Which episode is that?
That's the one with the candy apples, and also Abby's, JoJo doing
on Abby's Ultimate Dance Party.
the hair Rapunzel number. Yes, it's really cool.
I mean, this is like, I'm like excluded from this ritual. Like, I'm like jealous. They go in the room and they lock out. They're like, you go watch sports. We're watching Dance Moms. So,
And what about Toddlers and Tiaras?
And also Toddlers and Tiaras.
So same with the song.
Same thing. They just love that song. And actually, every little kid that I approach and they say, I know your song. And they start singing it right in front of me. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Well, that must be the best moment, though, too, when they know
I
all
love
the words.
it. The first time I heard it on TV, it made me cry. I know that's kind of weird, but it really made me feel super, super, super special. But then when they added it as a theme song for LA Hair, now that's when I really wow, I can't believe
on
it.
WeTV.
On WeTV.
5th season going in, and it's the theme song for.
That's amazing.
wow. So I'm glad you thank you for the correction. I'm sorry about that,
It's
and I
okay.
appreciate that.
I wish I would have
I'm
been
here to
on there
make
dancing my song.
But that's a great place to start in. So now, did you set out, like, was it your voice that always led you, or did you start out as a singer?
Actually, I started as an accordion player.
Like back in high school band?
No, 8 years old. I started my first accordion. My parents put me up to it because my dad loves polkas and norteña music, which
We did
is
the
Mexican.
polkas in my house because my mom played the what do you say, the
Accordion.
I'm like, is that yes, accordion? Yeah, because my mom always played. That's this, right?
Yes.
I'm doing the motion of like I
The
think I know how
keyboard
to
and
play.
bass. Though.
Yes.
The one I play is keyboard and bass. So basically, my dad wanted me to play some music from his genre of music, and that's how I started. And then I started singing. He actually started me on singing one time. He heard me over-sing the I Like My Hair Like This song in the bathroom as I'm getting ready. I was just kind of diddling around. Ooh, I like my hair like this. Ooh, I like my hair. He's like, honey, I like that. I like that. I don't know. Maybe let's make some verses to it, put it together. I'm like, you really mean it. He goes, yes, let's do it. That was the very first time I recorded anything.
I love that. What a night like
that
that.
thing
'Cause it
took
was
off.
so organic and it just happened.
We recorded it in our hallway at home.
So is it like that? No, so, okay, we want to get at what it's like to be married
When
to
I
a-
first heard it, I didn't like it. I hated the song. I was like, it's horrible. Please don't put it out. You're going to embarrass me. He goes, honey, they're going to like it. You'll see. And yeah, actually, I don't know too much about the adults, but the kids love it.
Now, you were putting stuff out on, you discovered her on YouTube, or did you know each other personally?
No,
MySpace.
MySpace.
I saw her on MySpace.
MySpace. Oh, okay. All right. That's all right. We can date ourselves. It's okay.
Not really.
You still keep the page up?
I
you know?
thought he was a little weird for a minute there. Let's jam out, he says.
Getting at her with all my charm, you know. She had
all the
some
charm
sexy
through
pictures.
MySpace you can get, right?
Sexy
She couldn't-
pictures.
Of me.
Yeah.
And she couldn't resist herself. So.
He was wearing a thong backwards,
right.
you know. It's like,
Yeah, right.
I just fell for him. I just.
So was it like that? You'd send her a direct message and like, I like your stuff and I'm a producer?
Something
or-
like that.
Not really. It wasn't even about my music. He said, why don't you come on down? I see that you play the accordion. Let's do a jam out, you and me. And I was like, okay.
Gotta
Well,
look
let's
back
see.
at the
Oh, he came at you through the accordion, huh?
Yeah, but I didn't meet with him without my accordion. I didn't want to meet with him. I was a little scared. And everybody was telling me, be careful, because it was my first times on social media, too. So I got a little scared. You know, so everybody's like, you got to be careful. There's a lot of creepy guys out there. And I was like, okay. So, but then he just kept going, and I just kind of researched him a little more. I'm like, he seems cool. Oh, you know what? I'll just go ahead and meet him at a public place. We'll have some dinner, and let's see where it goes from there.
So
we
was-
didn't.
Yeah, where's the public place at?
His house?
So was it? So the dating was early on, and yet you were able to incorporate helping each other professionally also at the same time.
After 2 years.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's a
the-
hard dance for a lot of couples.
We didn't. We didn't really go into music right away.
It took about 2 years. And the
She's
first thing,
nursing. She was going to school in nursing and
dental.
dental assistant. I'm sorry.
dental assisting, yeah. So yeah, I'm the singing dental assistant. And I'll tell you, there was a dentist that did not like that. She said, don't hum, don't whistle, and don't sing. She was so mean. She was so awful. I finally quit her. I was like, you know what? I don't want to work with you anymore. If you can't stand music, you're not a very happy person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were stealing the show.
Órale.
That's what it was.
Probably. Hey, yeah. Open your mouth.
No,
Let's
no,
sing
no.
together. Everything I would hear on the radio, I'd hum to or whistle. I just couldn't help myself. It was K-Big. I love K-Big. They play everything.
That's it. When they make the movie about your work, it's going to be you walking out on a dental assistant job.
Yeah, I just would
That's
grab
it.
one. The suction. Yeah, but I was going to dental school, and then I started working for a little while. But before that, my husband had asked, he's seen some of my poetry, and he asked me if I would like to write something for one of his artists. His name is MC Magic. He's a very well-known Chicano rap artist. And then I said, yeah, of course. Well, let me give it a try. I don't know if he'll like it. And he goes, well, try it. So he wrote the first line, and I went on from there. I gave it back to my husband. My husband loved it. He showed it to MC Magic. MC Magic didn't like it. He said, I don't like it. It's not me, whatever. But then after a few hours, he got in touch with my husband and said, you know what? I like it. It grew on me. I don't know. I'm gonna use it. It's now the most heard on a show called The Art LeBeau Connection. He's a guy that plays oldies on like all these oldie lowrider shows.
In
it's-
Southwest, it got a lot of airplay.
And it's the most dedicated song, and it's called Reasons by MC Magic. The words I wrote, my husband sings them.
Oh, wonderful. That's awesome.
It's beautiful, and the first time I saw them at the San Manuel Amphitheater, and they were performing it, I was right there watching them, and it made me cry again because I saw everybody singing to the words I wrote. It just made me feel so good. That was the first time I actually got my first writer's credit, and then from there I did Hair Like This, which I was just diddling around. And
Well, but I got to slow you down there because there's so many things that happen within that like one experience, right? It sounds like there wasn't even a full belief in your ability to write the lyrics.
no,
And then
I've been
you're-
always insecure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
always.
thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes.
And but you let your husband be like, hey,
Do
you
it.
have a gift,
Yeah.
and let's share it. And then what was it like then when you got met with like initial rejection?
I cried. Oh, MC Magic, I cried. I cried. I was like, oh my God. I cried. He didn't like
Look what
it.
you did, MC Magic.
He made me feel so bad. I was like, wow, he really didn't like it. And I thought it was just beautiful. And I was like, okay. And I actually wrote about a relationship, like, there are many reasons I'm in love with you. And I go from the first. The first is because all the things you do and, and you make me
was
feel
personal.
special. Yeah. And then I was like, wow, he really didn't like it. Okay, well, then I wasn't meant for writing. But then when he called him a few hours later and said, you know what, I don't know, man, it grew on me. I really like it. And I think now he's thankful for it because it's the song that's mostly requested on that show. And everybody wants to hear it. And they always said, Daphne and David Salas, oh my God, we love your song. Oh, reasons. And it, oh my gosh, it just touches my soul. It does.
Now, you said too that you felt maybe like insecure about your writing.
I always am insecure, period, till now.
And I think we all who are in the entertainment industry have felt that insecurity in some way, shape, or form. So if we have any listeners too, what would you give advice to them about when they feel insecure to maybe, because that moment, you already had the talent, you had the gift, it was there. It was just your insecurities that might have been holding you back if you didn't have that push.
You just said it. And what I have to say is say yes to everything they ask you to do. If it works and if it doesn't work, it's okay. You just keep pushing. Say yes, because you will regret that one no. And I feel that if I would have told my husband no, I would have regretted this moment of sharing something that everybody loves now. And I'm so happy. I wouldn't have never found out that I had that.
So then you were at a concert and you heard it sung live.
My husband and MC Magic were at the San Manuel Amphitheater, and they premiered it for the first time. And I was standing right there on the stage watching them, and oh my gosh,
We premiered it live. They had already been playing it, so the crowd,
they were singing
20-something
along.
thousand people were singing along. So
Like
that
they've
was
been playing it on the radio.
Yeah, they had been playing on the radio here.
And
all
so
that,
you see as I was focusing on the front rows, and all the ladies just, there are many reasons I'm in love with you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at them. They know the words. It felt so great. It really did. It really did. That's probably the most special thing, Yeah, and
That
I
must
thank
have been a
David.
beautiful moment,
I thank
yeah.
David for letting me, for actually believing that I can do this, and MC Magic for actually giving me that first step to say, hey, girl, you got this. And so from there, my songwriting just went pow. I just started songwriting for almost everybody, including myself. And my album is all original songs except for one.
Now that is the
A Dreamer in California.
Yeah. And it's got Snoop Dogg on there.
Yes, it does. Patron, that's I'm the boss. It's got Baby Bash, I Want a Thump. And MC Magic, of course, Broken Record. And every song is some part of my life somehow related, so some fights that my husband and I have.
It all gets shared.
Everything. I don't hold back at all. you know, because sometimes that's my release too. Broken Record, when I wrote it, we had just had a fight, and when we got into a fight, he slammed the door, and one of my little records that we used for our wedding fell down. It was like a little 45 with numbers on it. Ours was number 1, and it fell down.
For the table number.
Yeah, for the table numbers, and it fell down and it broke, and that inspired me to write Broken Record. You know, because I'm
Love
like,
it.
we're repeating the same thing over and over, stupid fights. Really, it is really stupid fights. And they're the little fights that turn into these blow up huge ugly fights.
And then you're like, how did we get here? Right?
Oh, he packs up his
No, I
hammer
know.
and leaves.
I know.
Oh, you know.
It's his fault.
Keep him. He
It's
knows.
his fault.
I know.
I'm always
I can
right.
explain.
I'm saying that if he only just, said, Daphne, you're always right, honey. Yes, okay.
Okay.
We'd be a happy couple
Oh, yeah.
forever. Always and
You're
forever.
saying that's the rule, right?
Yes, that's the
Happy
rule.
life, you
Yeah,
see?
exactly.
So you go into creativity mode, Daphne, and what happens to you, David? Where do you go when things are, they're not great? When it's like,
He goes to the
I
studio
go to
and works
studio. I go to studio.
and sleeps there sometimes.
Yeah, sleep.
so you give some space to the creative process.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you work though, but
Huh?
but then he also says he can't work when he's upset.
I don't know. I just dwell on it. Maybe pull my hair out. See I don't have any more.
You went bald thanks to me.
So how do you guys shift it back? Because it's inevitable for there to be conflict when you're working so close, you're living so close together.
We talk. Actually, we end up talking it out.
We also go to therapy. Therapy is very good.
Yes, we've hadn't in a while, but
Yeah, no.
It's been a long
Because
time.
he's taught us, he gave us a lot
The
of good
tools.
pointers and tools and stuff, and we use them. Yeah, we still get upset, we still go our separate ways, but then when we come back, it's like, okay, let's talk. What bothered you? What bothered me? Instead of saying you did this, you did no. Let's see what is it that I did that I could change, or how could I talk to you differently, or I mean, David and I have become, after almost 9 years of being together, friends. And that's a very good thing, because once you become friends, you guys could deal with anything just like friends do. Friends get into fights, quarrels and stuff, but they always come back and say, hey, what's up? Well, I'm sorry about that, dude. Okay, well, that's my husband and I.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, I messed up.
well, it's complicated when there's so many roles that you're playing for one another, and it's pressure on so many levels, and the respect that has to run through it. To be like,
That's the key word is respect. You got to give yourself, give him respect. He has to give me respect, and just watch what you say. And yeah, sometimes there's some words that are thrown out that, like, mean name calling. But if you could come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That was kind of messed up. And I've said that to him too. You know what, that was pretty messed up. I shouldn't have called you that. I'm sorry about that. It's
Yeah.
always good to say sorry. That's seriously, always apologize. Never come back and say, well, you shouldn't have called me that because then I wouldn't have called you that. No, apologize for what you do, period. That's it.
yeah. So now, what's it like? We'll bring you Hefner back into the conversation here, right?
That was before I met him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, when there's attention drawn towards you in modeling and things of that nature, how do you handle it? Pursuing fame on so many different levels. I mean, how do you keep that balance between it's your spouse and at the same time.
Yeah, or even before you've gotten to where you are, because even me in entertainment too, I'm like, relationships and anyway, friendships and personal relationships are hard with this industry.
Yeah, tough. You're right. Actually, modeling that, I'm not doing that anymore. With my husband, and if he feels a little uncomfortable with that part of it, that's it. No more of that. But I did take him a few times to the Playboy Mansion so he could kind of see what's up, and it goes the same way because he also works with a lot of beautiful girls, so it's like, you have to have trust, really, and able to, okay, well, you're working with so-and-so, okay, oh, you're going so-and-so place and you're doing this, okay, as long as you trust me and I trust you, we're all good, and we have a good business.
And I grew up in a musical family.
Oh, yeah.
Where my father, he was and my uncle were the founders of the group Tierra, and they had some big hits in the early 80s, so I was already around that kind of stuff. I was very used to that atmosphere, you know, so it wasn't
Right.
like I know what to expect. you know?
Right, so you know what the temptations are, you know what the boundaries are, you know
Yeah.
how to be a professional.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
And if you're going into a relationship like that, like if anybody wants to go into a relationship with you, right? They'll say, "Hey,
Read the
Richard,
warning
you know,
label.
who are you working with today? You know, oh my God, I've seen her profile and she looks. You know, you have to be able to be with someone that is accepting of your lifestyle already, and don't even come in and try to change it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's bad. That's super bad. And if you are in that type of relationship, then you better get out of it.
Or at least the communication is open enough to say, hey, you know, I need to go to a sweat lodge. or run a Tough Mudder, or try out for a triathlon, or whatever, and that they won't look at you like, do we need to have you checked in? Right? Like, but they'll understand why that's important to you. They understand what you're working on and why it's important.
Take him next time. Maybe, you know, he'll
yeah, I
get
know.
some.
I need that. I'll do me some good.
Drop a few pounds.
Drop a few
yeah, you know?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I guess apparently it has to be like, you know, all men or all women. It's very like sacred
Oh, okay.
ground, yeah. But they do what they call open sweats once a month.
Is it the Indian type, or is it?
Yeah,
you
it's I guess different. I'm gonna learn a lot more apparently because
Oh,
I think
okay.
different tribes have different practices.
How many days is that like?
I think it can be done just in a few hours. I mean,
Oh,
your body can only sustain
Yeah.
so much.
Oh,
of the
I thought it was a
intense heat.
days thing, like a couple days, and you're just sitting
I
there in
think-
a tent just
I
sweating.
think some people may do it daily. You know,
I think
it's
we've seen
kinda
something
like,
about that, didn't we? A documentary about somebody that passed away doing
Yeah, it
something
was-
like that.
Yeah.
Well, then we talked with our other guest there, who Eric Hinman there, that does the
That's
flow
right.
state, and he, you know, does ice cold water and hot water back and forth. He said 6 times, right?
Well,
I think
right.
he did
that,
6
that is a
times
lot
on
about.
that.
We've had people on to talk about like extreme temperatures and how it regulates
Mm-hmm.
both moods and internal states.
Oh.
So there's different theories on that. And thank you for mentioning Eric Hinman because he referred me some people who've been sending me some great samples.
I
of-
know, me too. I just got amazing
So-
sneakers thanks to Eric. So Eric, if you're listening,
Hey, where are my
thank
sneakers,
you,
man?
Eric.
We want some too.
You
What's
just
up,
brought
Eric?
jealousy into this
Bring your
show.
phones too now.
So have you guys done anything like that or physical where you push your boundaries physically?
No, just with each other.
So there's a big yes.
Who needs a sweatshop? Come on now. Come on
Did you
now.
get it?
Getting a little hot in the studio.
Exactly. I need anything more
Come on
extreme than
now.
we
I've been
are.
with the man for 9 years. We make our own sweatshop, our own sauna in the bathroom. Just close the door, honey. Let it steam.
TMI.
There.
There you go. There you go. There you go. You
So
see?
what do you guys?
G13,
If
baby.
you've got love, that's all you need. You've got imagination.
So what are you guys working on the daily, every day? What's a normal week for you look like nowadays?
Right now we're working on our company, and although we still work on music and stuff, but right now we're really focusing on our company, ARMS, Artist Royalty Music Services. And
So can you say for our listeners in layman's terms, what does that mean?
Okay, it's royalty administration for artists who have been left out, basically, who maybe either didn't pay attention to the royalties or were screwed out of the royalties, which is many artists. Probably 90% of the artists I meet have some kind of drama or something going on. And some of our clients are Young Buck from G Unit,
brand new.
yeah, brand new,
Uh-huh,
and
brand
the Shy Lights, they have a bunch of it, Brentwood,
Patty Drew.
Malo, a whole bunch we got. But basically, so what we do is research where they may have money, and these days with streaming, it's completely changed from the way it was. You know, now that streaming, you're able to track royalties, you're able to see the metrics and data that's coming in, and figure out more or less what they're owed. So.
So if Spotify is playing their tune, can you track that, or you do something?
Yeah,
on that?
well, yeah. Spotify's that's only you mentioned one that's a little different because Spotify makes direct deals with record labels, so you would still have to go track it down through the record label, which we do as well. But there's international royalties, lots of streaming royalties that artists just aren't aware of, you know. And it's my job to go out and get the money And
So if you had an artist come to you that wasn't even sure if they were missing royalties and just wanted to check with you to be sure?
yeah, every week there's
Every
somebody.
week.
Yes, it's been
Yeah.
getting a little more and more busier. We're working now with Spanish artists as well, and it's just it's really sad to see how some record labels and actually their own managers take
Yes.
advantage of people. They'll be stealing their money
Yeah.
underneath them, and they won't even know that their money is going somewhere else. And we just found out a few of our artists have been having that kind of drama.
Exactly. Just a manager will get a hold of
Yeah.
your ID
That's it.
and your social and go and attach themselves to your publishing as a writer, and collect on it for decades in some
Wow.
cases.
So are you involved in that as well,
So,
outside of
yeah.
the music? You're
Yeah.
just any royalties that are due to an artist?
I produce, but I produce music, of course, but that is a main focus and passion of ours because it's really rewarding to have the artist, like, wow, you corrected that after that many years, and to get them on the path of making money finally, after so many years of struggling. And some of these artists,
Some are like literally dead broke when we find them, no money, and then we help them.
Is this like a continuation from the days with Napster and all that, or is it still like?
no, it's going forward.
Because there was a lot of Bono was behind a lot of push for.
Some of it is, but
Yeah.
the majority of it is. There's just a lot of different situations because some of it could be just the record label not paying them, publishing companies not honoring a contract, or like I said, management companies going out and not not
Stealing.
giving it, or just the artist simply not paying attention because they're focused on the creativity, which is probably the biggest
Yeah.
area that we find.
So that's a good point. So David, what do you tell artists out there? I mean, they're right. We're always strong where we're strong, and we don't always see where we're weak, where we need help. I mean, we're right here on the verge of Beverly Hills and Hollywood here at All Access Broadcasting. What do you tell young artists who might be listening today about how do they manage both sides?
Well, you got to put some time and effort into it. Like that is super duper important because, after a while, when you're done or you're no longer being creative, or you're just kind of done with it, or perhaps you already had some hits, once that happens, you got to make sure everything's monetized correctly because some of these organizations only keep the money for 3 months, and then it'll go back into the system. So it's not like it's going to be there. So if you do have that one hit and you're lucky enough to have a hit, you got to be in a position to collect all the money you can because that's your 401k, that's your retirement,
That's it.
that's everything. Because you may not have another chance, and some of that money is not retroactively collected. So you got to balance the both. To be honest, most of it, it's not a daily thing. You could do it. Maybe just look at it once a month. Take a few hours once a month just to make sure everything's correct.
So do you manage that for
Yes,
artists?
exactly. That's exactly what we do.
So any new artist can join your company too to be sure that they're going to get.
Well, I don't take on too many new artists because there's not money there. but so we're focusing
Yes.
on getting more of the classic artists, artists who we have
From
a lot
the
of
60s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s,
Yeah.
that already have things going on,
Yeah.
so.
But it's great to get that message out though to the younger artists to like just be aware of what's out there. There's so many videos and tutorials and so much online that could lead you in the right direction, point you to exactly where the money's at. But
Could get paid for it.
Yeah. So how do you find time between being business oriented or advocacy oriented for young artists and still maintaining a pulse on creativity?
Well, I get up in the morning and from
7 a.m.
7 a.m. to about 10 a.m. I spend 3 hours just on that, on the royalty business, and then go to studio. And by 11 o'clock, I'm focused just
On production.
Yeah, I'm production. I actually pretty good at separating the two. I don't.
Yeah.
Once
Mixes
I'm
all-
in the studio, I'm in the studio.
Uh-huh.
And is Daphne with you, or is she doing her own process?
Well, I'm helping him with all the Spanish artists right now because he's his Spanish is not very good. So I'm the one who does all the work for all the Spanish artists and get that going. also help them put together things in social media, upload the music from a lot of the artists that already are part of our company. That takes a lot of time, especially when there's a lot of music out there, huh, honey?
And you're a great example, right? You said you had 8 million hits on one.
Oh, that was
and
on
10
I Like My Hair Like This, yeah. Yeah, but that's just me starting. There's people out there that have billions and millions of YouTube views on their stuff, and they just don't know it. Like a lot of these Spanish artists, they're just like one of them that we just made, Trio Los Condes. They're from Puerto Rico. This lady is so thankful that we found her because she is actually going through some cancer stuff herself, and she needs the money for treatments. So it's like they have.
That's even more rewarding when you can help somebody
Oh
who
my
really
goodness!
needs it.
My
It's
heart
amazing.
feels like wow, we just did something very good for somebody here. You know, and I can't wait for her to get her first check because I know that she's going to need it. I mean, she already needs it as bad as she does, but, you know, we helped her there to at least be able to pay for her medical bills. You know, so that's what I'm saying. That's when it's rewarding because we found so many artists like that that are like dead broke or not living very well. And as soon as we come in and we give them that check, they call us crying. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's our reward. That's it right there. You know, wow, you know, we did this for you.
So did you know this was your passion going in, or did you find this inspiration along the way that you know, wanting to be the voice or be a conduit for other people who maybe could not be discovered, especially, you know, Chicana?
Oh, being a Chicana and me really being a voice, I never really thought of it like that. It's only once we started working, you know, with all these artists that it started being something like I was like, wow, you know, I can't believe that so many people are out there that just can't, you know, they just have no idea. They don't have no idea. So let's try to help them out, you know. So that's.
Well, the way this got started is I was researching my father and my uncle's situation.
Oh yeah.
And as a music producer, I knew that I was up on game on a lot of things and collecting my money. And I'm like, wow, my father's not making much on this, you know? So once I started researching, I was like, boy, he's missing out on a lot, you know? And then his peers, you know, his musical peers, were in the same position. So then picked off, you know, some of them and some here, some there. And next thing you know, we have a thriving business. So that's kind of.
So is it like a protection mechanism that comes in? Is it like like a respect for your elders, like you see how much they've put into the game and yet
Oh, yes.
they're not getting
Oh,
valued
especially.
or they've been taken advantage of. So
Yeah.
you seem like a calm guy, but maybe there's a little bit of like
Oh, no.
Chip.
And I get.
with that little chip that gets
Man,
activated.
Some
by-
of the situations some of these people have gotten themselves into, where other people, the way they've been taken advantage of is really, it's infuriating, you know, when you find out like songs that you know to this day, like, wow, I love that song, and you're like, but they're living on Section 8, you know.
Exactly. It's true.
The situations like that, and then, you know, you present them with a huge check, and they're like, oh my God, you know, finally I'm getting something, you
You're
know.
like an angel, literally delivering something
Yeah,
to them.
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. Well, why not? Yeah. So
Music
what's
angels.
yeah? Wow. See, hey, brand that. Yeah, bring her in. So what's that like for you in that moment? I mean, you know, being able to give someone what they've merited.
That's the most rewarding part of it.
Ooh-wee.
That's the most rewarding. We've had artists who came out of retirement after 40 years. You want to bring it up, Patty?
Oh, well, Patty Drew, she had a song on The Butler, the movie The Butler, Tell Him. The name is the song is called Tell Him. And we told her, why wouldn't you like to perform again? No, I don't think anybody's going to remember me. I was like, come on, Patty, everybody here, all the Chicanos, they love her. You know, and we're like, the West Coast loves you, girl. You got to come out and do at least one show and see how you feel. I don't think anybody's going to remember me. No, we'll see. Trust me, you're going to love it. And if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to do it again. So we brought her back. The first show was in Fresno, California, huh, Daddy? In, what's the name of that stadium? It was one of their bigger stadiums. Well, anyways, the whole thing got packed. And everybody was there early just to see Patty Drew.
Was it younger audience? or
It was
a-
younger and older audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Chicanos love their oldies.
Yeah.
From the younger ones to the older ones. So it's like everybody,
She
as
has
soon as she
two
came
songs
out,
that are pretty much staples of Chicano.
working on a groovy
community.
thing and tell him.
Yeah, and so of course when she went into them, she was just blown away when she saw the crowd's reaction.
She got off stage.
And
She
that-
was in tears. I didn't think they would remember me, Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
I did her hair, I did her makeup, I dressed her up, and I put her up on stage.
You see, but you didn't have to do that. There's something about personally
It makes
getting
me feel
investment.
good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. I love it. It makes me feel good to see that to bring her back, maybe to remember those days where she felt the happiest when she was young and happy. She did leave it for a while, for over 40 years, huh?
Years.
Because she got into a lot of bad things. She's told the story about drugs and stuff like that, so she stopped altogether. So going back out there and doing it again and being all clean and seeing the reaction of the crowd is just, for her, was something else.
She just performed the Microsoft last week at the
Yeah,
Microsoft
I went up there
Theater.
with her
She
Really?
sang background. She sang background.
at the Microsoft Theater. Yeah, it was a Christmas show, actually. We had the Shy Lights there too, and Patty Drew. And actually her sister joined us, which was one of the Druvels from back in the day. It was the first little group that she had.
You see, I mean, it's amazing because you're talking to me about, you're lacking confidence, and here she's lacking confidence. And
They
yet
give me the confidence.
That's the power of
Yes.
connection and appreciation, because, right, just from that, you reinvesting in her,
Yeah.
it's like it never left, even after 40 years.
Exactly. I think that sometimes you feed off each other. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're feeling kind of insecure and kind of shy or whatever, and you see that person is also feeling insecure or kind of shy, and you're telling them, you got to do this. No, you can do it. Yes, I know you will. Blah, blah, blah. And then you start thinking, man, I need to practice what I preach.
Yes, yes.
What the heck am I doing?
I know.
I'm telling her what's up.
But I need to talk to myself.
Let me put myself. You know what, guys? Get a mirror. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself all that you tell somebody else. And trust me, it works.
Absolutely. It's the greatest gift. I tell people all the time about being of service to my clients, that I get to go into a 6-hour block and whatever I was working on before stressing me out, and I come out like, wow, I just got to help other people. Now it's like, well, I better go home and practice my meditation and my self-care and my sleep hygiene and be nice to people and respectful, right? Like, it inspires you when you see what the needs are with others and you see yourself providing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very important for people,
Boomerang.
be of service. Give, if you're not feeling confident, this holiday season, especially feeling lonely, connect to somebody, help somebody out who's less fortunate. It's amazing what you will refine within yourself. Because if we're all interconnected in some way, then what you learn in other people, what you find in other people, reignites that's what's within yourself. So,
Absolutely.
and on a performance realm, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm sure you partner with a variety of different artists.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is there a story you guys can share about maybe someone else who just really pushed you out of your shell to accomplish something you never thought you could?
Actually, I would say his uncle Steve, because his uncle Steve, he's also the co-founder of Tierra. He's got a lot of anxiety, He stresses. He's very shy around people and stuff like that. So when I first met him, I noticed that. And but when I got into music, I was being the same way, and thanks to him, it kind of helped me a little bit I'm always telling him, you don't have to be so shy, you don't have, and you do learn off of telling other people what not to do or how to be. So it kind of bounced a little off me, and he's helped a lot, actually. And he's been in a couple of my songs as well, and that's just makes me feel very, very good,
Yeah. Well, when he gets up there, he's a different person, you know. And then you realize, okay, I mean, he goes through this ritual of driving everybody crazy.
He does. He does.
And then he gets up there.
Does he know it's a ritual?
I think he does. I think he does.
No, he does.
I think he does. Yes.
Maybe. And you know, it just gets everybody else on edge. And then when he goes up there, and he moves forward and puts everything all in, and of course it makes everybody on stage, you know, as we're playing,
Get on it.
to really get into it too, you know. And when you have a dynamic lead vocalist, a singer like that, it always really helps to bring the band up, you know. But it helps more when you have a good crowd. If you have a dead crowd, then it's a little harder.
Oh, and trust me, I've been through that. I've been applauded and loved on stage, but I've also been booed off
So
stage.
what was the worst? What was the worst?
The booed
Oh,
off stage.
Yeah,
Oh
what
my
was
gosh,
the
I
worst
couldn't.
place? What was the
Oh.
worst one?
That was Queen Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Queen
Queen
Mary?
Mary.
Oh, and you were on a boat?
No.
No, on the show, what happened was everybody was enjoying the show up to a moment. My husband had told me, do not do a song which was kind of like a rock alternative song for a freestyle crowd. I started with a freestyle song, kind of like pop music, but I call it barrio pop. And then from there, I went on to an alternative song, which I wanted to premiere that night. And my husband said, don't do it because the crowd's not going to like it. It's not their thing. And I brought this other rapper with me. His name is Opie the Animal. He was right. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. They booed me off stage. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have listened. Well, I learned my lesson quick. Never again. I said, next time when he tells me not to do something, I'll listen to him.
So what followed after that, though? Was that, you know...
That didn't stop me. I said, well, I just got to correct it and keep on
Okay,
moving
good.
forward.
You got back on the horse, whatever.
I didn't even leave. I stayed there and talked to everybody.
Oh,
I was
good.
like, oh, I'm sorry.
That's good, yeah. I mean,
Sorry you didn't
pull out the
like me.
notepad. Yeah, what could I have done different next time? Should I have put that song at the beginning? Would you have...
No.
Just omit it. Okay, I'll do it.
That was horrible. That actually felt really weird. I got off stage but I was like, well, you know what, whatever, I should have listened to him, and life goes on. And let's keep signing autographs. Does anybody still want to talk to me? Take a picture.
Well, there was
Yes, of
one.
course. There was one.
There was one guy, song rock.
It's true. It's funny because a few of the guys that did, which were guys that like rock, alternative rock music, they were down with it. They were like, ooh, that was bad. I was like, yes, it was.
You just didn't know your sample size
Like,
was
why
just
didn't you
3.
push your way up?
Yeah, really. Come on now,
Who are
dude.
you?
Where were you?
Yeah, where do you hang out? Which clubs?
Yeah, really. Yeah, but that was it, though. But that didn't.
Well, it sounds like you had the awareness to turn that negative into a learning experience.
Of course,
and-
every negative you need to turn it into a learning experience. Every negative, and just okay, well that didn't work. Let's do this. I feel like we're always put through trials and stuff and challenges, and we need to just go with whatever happens. And then if it's bad, then try to figure out why it was bad and how you could change it for later so it won't happen again. Whatever it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, whatever it is, and just keep going forward. Don't make that stop you and anchor you down like, oh man, I messed up. That's it for me. I quit. No. That's a failure. You don't want to be a failure. You want to keep on moving forward. Just keep going. Try everything and do it, and whatever you feel like you love, just go with it.
So Daphne, how do you provide that voice? What do you tell people out there that are isolated in Puerto Rico right now, and they're creating in their room, and they are putting it on YouTube, and they probably have a great voice, but what do you tell them because those thoughts enter in, right? Not good enough, nobody noticed, it doesn't change my life is still tough, right? Or the first time they get up on stage, right? They're not in the right crowd, right? It's not the right, they're not in the right environment,
exactly.
right?
That's it. I just said it. Don't let that anchor you. Don't let that anchor you. You just keep moving forward. There's always, if I would have let that time that they booed me off stage stop me, then I wouldn't have never done I wouldn't have done more shows. I wouldn't have written more music. I just wrote a song for a Grammy Award, a singer. Jay Paris, and it's like, you just,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. You just keep going forward. Don't let anything stop you, because once you anchor yourself down and say, oh God, nobody likes me, nobody will listen to me, nobody knows about me. Oh, I need to be a superstar, I need to be Beyonce, or I need to be, Kanye West or whatever in order to get somebody to listen to me. No, that's not true. And actually, right now, David and I have a motto which says, it's not about the hit, it's about the replay. You put that thing up on YouTube, you put it up on iTunes, wherever you want to put it up, Spotify, and let it keep rolling, streaming, and guess what? Eventually you'll get paid. Maybe not right away, but you'll get paid.
Yeah, but not only that, you'll get, if that many people are looking at it, then that people are remembering your name.
Exactly.
Or saving it for later, for, stuff like that. So that goes back to the monetization too of your royalties, But the other aspect of being an artist, you mentioned, is that you also can't just be hoping, but you got to be working hard.
Exactly.
You got to work hard at it. And the thing is, you got to have, like I always tell her, we got to make music with honest ears. Like, don't get into yourself. Like, there's too many artists like, oh, that's not the shit ever. Oh my God, this is,
It's true.
You got to really, really, really be honest and play something from your favorite artist and put it right next to yours and just say, am I getting that feeling? Is that feeling there? And
So how do you keep yourself out of that echo chamber? I mean, how do you get feedback and let people can tell you, hey, that's not it?
just like I said, listen to everything else, and if you're stuck in a bubble of just, your peers.
What's the hottest thing out there?
Yeah, well,
that's another thing
yeah,
too.
Yeah, you can't. That's the other thing. You can't be a copycat either. You got to be original, and don't be afraid to take chances, whether it's with lyrics, with sounds. I mean, there's so many facets to being a great artist, or even a good artist. That you can't. You got to. It's a mixed match. It's a gumbo of everything. Lyrics, sound, quality, voice, phrasing, especially phrasing. People think that that's not a big deal, but phrasing is how people identify you as an artist. How you phrase it, certain words, how you own a word, and too many artists overlook that. And like I said, it's not just being famous or making something go viral.
No, and if you think about that, if you're too busy thinking about being famous or how, oh my gosh, I'm going to put something out and everybody's going to love me. No. That's not going to work. You have to think about what you feel in your soul and let your soul speak out. Especially, I'm talking about music, guys. Let your soul speak out and do what you got to do and just put it out. Feel a song that you used to love once upon a time and kind of go with that flow and write an original on it, and
So I can
put it
just
out.
bust out my LL Cool J. and
Orale! Yes, of course. Why not?
That's all about
Just
identifying
let it
your
go.
gift, right?
Exactly.
And embracing what that gift is.
Yes. Just
Just be you.
Embrace yourself.
That's
right?
it.
Can't go and jump and if I'm like, what is it, that finger song that Beyonce sings?
Put a ring on it,
Oh,
right?
no. That's not me.
Yeah.
So we have a few minutes left out, but I want to, just because, I'm my close friend Amy Schumer has been out there. She's got a lot of comedy.
I
going
love
on,
her. She
right?
is so funny.
So I don't want to omit giving a chance, like you're saying, be yourself, right? Mm-hmm. We're saying feel your soul, but what do you have to say to the people out there? We're near Hollywood. Everyone thinking you got to look, you got to fit a mold. What do you tell people? When they got their accordion and they're in the San Fernando Valley.
Aww.
What do you tell them?
I
visit-
love
go
you.
visit
I love you. Keep playing, man. It's all good. You do you. You
That's
do
it.
you. That's it, man. Who cares what everybody else thinks? It's you. You're original. You're the only person, and maybe this person might not like it. Maybe that person might like it, but you know what? Different strokes for different folks. Not everybody likes the same thing anyways. So sometimes people will accept you for being for not they don't even like you being so real, and they'll be like, oh, calm down, man. And then like me, obviously have ADD, okay? That's something that I've suffered my whole entire lifetime. You know, I've taken medication for it, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like right now, you know, but...
Well, people better learn to love you for who you are and how you are, right?
So it is what it is, you know, and if you don't like it, keep on walking. It's all good. Somebody else will like me.
That's right. That's
right, Daddy? He loves me.
There you go. There you go.
As long as he loves me.
Well, they're going to kick us off in a minute, but I want to give you guys a chance to share. What are you working on? What's new with the two of you? And how do people get a hold of you, if you don't mind?
Okay, well, what are we working on right now? Like we said, ARMS, and also check out my album, Dreamer in California. It's out already on iTunes, and actually it's big in Japan right now.
Woo!
Everybody's ordering it like crazy. So big in Japan, but go to Daphee.com, DAPHEE.com, and you can check out all my new music videos, and all the stuff, the projects that I'm working on, songwriting.
Oh, and look out for a Tamale Christmas.
Tamale Christmas.
That's a new project we did. It should have been out already. It's probably out tonight.
Yeah, it comes out this week sometime. And it's up
Yeah.
to you also. It's going to be, the music video should be out this week also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check it out. Like I said, go to Daphee.com. You'll find everything and anything about these
Can
salas.
people subscribe and see when your new songs
Yeah,
come
YouTube, Daphee, of course. But, yeah, Daphee.com will take them to YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, everything. So,
And go arms411.com for the artists who have a ton of money and don't know how to get it.
yeah.
Get
for
that
sure.
money. Get that money. Kick
Get
some
that
back into the
money.
Richard Listens
Let us
show.
help you get that money.
And then come on the show and let's share about your story.
Yeah.
That's
right?
for
Let's bring
sure.
it full circle. Caitlin?
Yes, and of course, Caitlin Patricia Wiley. You guys can find me at CaitlinPatriciaWiley.com, and Kit Kate. Thanks for having me. It was nice to meet you, David and Daphee. I will be following your journey from now
Oh,
on.
thank you, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you
so
both.
inspiring. Yes, it's nice to hear your story from the beginning to now, and I'm sure it will help inspire others.
I'm sure you guys are still spinning, huh? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I speak just like I speak in Spanish. It's worse.
You know,
Oh, yeah. Like, what? What'd you say?
you know what? I'm grateful you guys came in here, being a part of our first month of getting started All Access,
Aw.
and the way you bring your relationship, your passion for what you do, helping others,
And your energy.
and your love, and your real. That
Yes.
anybody out there who doesn't think relationships take work, that there's not going to be problems or stress, and that cannot be used to then strengthen how you work together. That's a big, blockage for people who have commitment issues, and you guys are a great model for performers out there.
Oh, well, we try, huh, Daddy?
Yeah,
we
that's
go
right.
through our list stuff.
So we hope to be able to share more of what you guys come up with. Please, keep us posted. We'll keep it sharing out there on the Richard Listens page. And thanks for the shout outs today. And stay tuned in 2019 for a book from yours truly. In the meantime,
Nice.
keep sharing journeys for me to try. Richard listens, Richard hikes, Richard attends sweat lodges, and we'll see what else. We're out, everybody. Have a happy New Year.